Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Do you have your lectures at 8:30? Is this the first lecture today? Is this the first lecture today? How about 8:30 lectures?
No, ma'am. We had a lecture at 9:30.
Sorry?
At 9:30 we had a lecture, ma'am.
Okay, 9:30 to 10:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why I'm asking is the attendance is really low today. Just 62 people are here. This is your usual time, right? According to your timetable, I just postponed the lectures 15 minutes, 11 to 1. Will they join or do we need to wait for them? It's already 11:07, right? So we'll start. They join. We will let them join during the class. So yeah, we will start. So any idea? Anyone who remembers what we have covered in previous class? It's just the last Monday, the day before. What was the last thing we covered? It was about what? Personality. Yeah, that is the topic. So under the personality, we have looked into what is personality actually, and then what are the two main factors which causes a person to behave in a certain way or influences the personality. One is the heredity, and the second one is the environment. And where even the environment has some impact on the personality, the heredity is the most important factor determining a person's personality. And then we looked into the measurement of personality, how we can measure the personality of a person, what kind of the measurements are available. So there are two main different measurements. The one is the self-rating surveys, and the second one is the observer rating ones. So self-rating under a particular person who measures his or her own personality. So if you are the person A, you yourself measures your personality. So that is what the self-rating, and the observer rating in the sense your personality would be measured by someone else. Okay, so someone else will look into yourself, your behavior, your actions, and all. And based on that, they will measure, okay, this is the personality of this particular person. So this is why this person is behaving. This could be the category of this person. That's how they will come to a solution or come to a conclusion. Okay. So that is what we have seen. And finally, there are two different models which describes different categories of the personality. The main two models, one is the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and the second one is the Big Five model. So where we have already completed the Myers and Briggs type indicator. So it defines the personality, or it categorizes under four different dimensions, where two continuums for each dimension, and according to the indicator, the measurement of personality would occur like selecting one dimension or one continuum from each dimension and combining it all together and defining it as a personality category. So accordingly, 16 different types of personality have been developed according to the Myers-Briggs indicator. Okay. So now we will continue this section from where we left in the previous class, that is the Myers-Briggs, and the next is about the Big Five personality. Okay, so this is also a model developed to categorize the human personality. So how different persons are the characteristics of a different person, the features of different persons combines into a personality category. So the Big Five personality model that five basic dimension underlies all other and encompasses most of the significant variation in the human personality. So this is almost it underlies. So under the Big Five personality model, the personality have been categorized under the five, and almost all the characteristics or all the dimensions are falling under any of these five category, and the people could be categorized under any of five. So, moreover, the test score of these traits do a very good job of predicting how people behave in a variety of real life situations. So, again, if we measure the personality or if we categorize the people according to this personality indicator, this is really good in predicting the people's behavior as well. Not only like determining the people whether what kind of character or what kind of person he or she is. Not only just determining, but also this model is helpful in predicting how he or she will be acting in future situations. Okay, predicting the people behavior in a variety of real life situations as well. So the following are the big five characteristics or the big five factors. The first one is the extraversion. This is something related to the first dimension or the first continuum of these Myers and Briggs indicator, where the extroverted versus introverted. So the same is also categorized or identified under the Big Five model as well. The first category is the extraversion. So this dimension captures a comfort level with a relationship. How comfortable we are in a relationship. Okay. So that is what captured by this extraversion, and the extrovert tend to be gregarious, assertive, and they are really sociable. So these people wants to have the relationship more and more. So everything else, they will give importance over everything else to their personality. The relationship. So they will give importance to the relationship over everything else. Nothing. Other things are maybe important to themselves, but the more emphasis is placed on the relationship, and they are very comfort in having the relationship, and they want to build the relationship and maintain the relationship. They always want to be surrounded by the people. They are really outgoing. They're really social. Okay, so these people want to engage in the social functions and engage in the social activity, wants to have more and more friends, and they are really quickly able to deal with the people and quickly mingling with the people. So these kind of personality are called as extraversion. And the introverts, they tend to be reserved, timid, and be quiet. Okay, so these people, by their nature, they tend to be a reserved one. They are really quiet and they don't talk much. They don't have that much of friends. They don't engage in the social activities. It's not because of something else. They don't wish to do that. By nature, they are that kind of people. Okay, they face some uncomfortableness or maybe the discomfort in dealing with the people. Okay, so that is the extraversion dimension. The second one is the agreeableness. So agreeableness dimension refers to an individual's propensity to differ to others. Okay, so this is how much to what extent the people are having the different opinions than the other people. Okay, so whether they are agreeing to the opinions to the other people or whether they are having some disagreement, whether they are proposing something else than the other people's opinion. That is what the agreeableness. So the highly agreeable people, they are cooperative, warm, and trusting. So these people tend to agree with the opinions of other people. They are really cooperative. Whatever the others suggest, these people do not oppose it. They just go with the flow and agree the other people's opinion and all. And these people are really trusting ones. Okay, and the people who low on these agreeableness called the disagreeable and the antagonistic. Okay, so these people are really disagreeable people. So whatever the other people say is, by nature, these people will oppose those opinions. That's how they will react to some person's opinion. So there may not be any logical way of opposing or the logical reason to oppose it, but by nature, these kind of personality, these people are a kind of personality, they will oppose it. Okay, that is the disagreeable people. And the next one is the conscientiousness. The conscientiousness dimension is a measure of the reliability. Okay, so the next dimension means how reliable a person is. So if a person is really, yeah, I'm 65, you want to ask anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so this is a dimension. Conscientiousness is a dimension which is related to the reliability. How much a person is reliable to the other people. So, if a person is highly conscious and responsible, organized, and dependable and persistent one. So, if he is a highly conscious one, he's really responsible. So, whatever he does, he will take the responsibility of that particular task. Whatever the decision made by that particular person will take the responsibility of that particular decision because that is made by himself or herself. So that particular person will take the responsibility of it. Okay. And they are very organized and persistent as well. So they will do the task and they will do the activities in a very organized manner. They will keep everything in an organized manner. And they are persistent as well. They don't move from one position to another frequently. In the sense, if they take some decision, they will stick with the decision. They don't change the decision very frequently. They are persistent. That is the people with high consciousness. And the people who score low on this dimension, that means low conscientiousness, they are easily distracted, disorganized, and unreliable. Okay, so these people, we can easily distract these people because they are not organized. They change the decision very frequently. Once they say something, and within maybe a minute, within some hours, or within a day, they will change their decision. That's how the people will work on. So these kind of people could be distracted very easily and they don't do the activities in an organized manner. They will just like sit and immediately decide something and went went somewhere else. Okay, that's how these people will behave. They don't have a plan or they don't properly plan and organize the task. Whatever they way they wish to do, they will do the task, and they are really unreliable because we cannot predict these people's behavior. So that makes that particular person unreliable to the other persons. Okay. The next personality dimension is the emotional stability. So emotional stability dimension often labeled by its converse. Okay. So like the person's ability to withstand the stress is called as the emotional stability, or how people are emotionally stable, how much they could handle their emotions properly without affecting their outcomes. Okay, so without affecting the behavior, how much they could handle their emotions properly. That is what called as the emotional stability. So the people with positive emotional stability tend to be calm, self-confident, and the secure. So if a person who score high on emotional stability, they tend to be very calm. Okay, because whatever happens to them, whether it is a positive event, whether it is a negative event, whether they have the positive emotion, whether they have the negative emotion, they tend to treat both in the same way, and they will not even they had some positive emotions or surprises, they will not take it in a very favorable manner, or if something happened negatively, they will not take it in a very personal manner. So always they tend to be calm and they are really self-confident as well. They believe in themselves and they feel the security as well. They are very feel secure. And those with high negative scores tend to be nervous, anxious, depressed, and insecure. Because if they score low on these emotional stability, these people are really depressed, and they are uh, very nervous about everything. So if something they want to do something new, they will feel very nervous, and they are insecure, and they don't have the uh, uh, self-confident on themselves. So that kind of personality they are. Okay. And the openness to experience. The openness to experience dimension addresses a range of interest and fascination with novelty. So extremely open people are creative, curious, and artistically sensitive. So these people, the openness to experience people. So this is a dimension dealing with the interest, the creativity, the passion, the novelty, those kind of things. Okay. So if the people are high on the openness to experience, extremely open, these people are really creative, curious, and artistically sensitive. Okay. If they score high on this openness, these people are very creative, they're very sensitive, and they produce new things, create new ideas, innovate, always engage in the innovation. So those kind of personality, the people of openness to experience. And those at the other end of the category are conventional and find comfort in their familiar. So if the people who score on who score low on these openness to experience, they are very conventional. They don't do something new. They will follow the traditional way of doing something because they are very comfort with a familiar one. They find it easy to deal with the established concept, established way of doing things. They will follow the same way as how the past or how the previous people have dealt with the issue. That's how the people used to act if they score low on these openness to experience dimension. So these are the big five dimension. And now we see how these big five dimension relates to the work and how what are the outcomes which are affected by these big five dimensions. Is that clear? Is the big five dimensions clear? Any clarification? Because before moving into the impact and outcome which are being affected by this big five personality, I just want to make sure whether you are clear about this dimension or not. Received some responses saying it is clear. So now we will move to how it impacts the workplace outcomes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. So the big five personality, as we see, there are five. So how it is relevant is emotional stability is the ability to control the emotion. Whatever happens, you have to be in a stable position, stable mind. Okay. So why it is relevant is less negative thinking and fewer negative emotions. So if something happens negatively to you at the workplace, you won't be thinking negatively about those things. You less negative thinking would be there, and again, the emotions expressed by yourself also would not be the much negative, fewer negative emotions, and they are less hyper vigilant. Okay. So if these people experience this kind of personality, how does it affect high job and life satisfaction? Because you don't take it personally, events happening in the environment, you don't take it personally, you don't think about it negatively. So that will lead you to achieve a higher job performance and the satisfaction, and you will experience lower level of stress because you take everything in a uh, in a balanced way, whether it is happiness or whether it is sadness, you are taking it in a balanced way, and that will lead you to for the low level of stress. And the next category is the extroversion. So here the people wants to work with the people, enjoy being surrounded by the people, enjoy engaging in the social activity, so that they have the better interpersonal skills, the greater social dominance, and more emotionally expressive. And these people are more emotionally expressive, and they wanted to have the relationship. So if it is the characteristics, how it affect the outcome is high performance because they can easily work with the people, easily deal with the people. So achieving the performance at groups works is really high, and then enhance leadership. So these people could provide the better leadership to the other people and high job and life satisfaction. So this is the characteristics of the extroversion. And openness, increased learning. That means these people wants to explore something new. They don't want to stick with the traditional way of doing things. They don't want to find the new thing. They don't want to experience new things. So these people, they want to, since they want to do new things, they will learn continuously, increase learning, and they are more creative and more flexible and autonomous because they don't fixed with the schedules and all. So they want to do their task in a very flexible manner, and they are not controllable by the other people. They are really autonomous. So how it will affect the outcome is training performance. Since they are eager to learn something new, if we provide some training to themselves, they will perform really well. And these people could also provide a better leadership because initiate some changes, initiate new things to the organization. So will provide a better leadership, and they are more adaptable to the change because they are really flexible. They don't want to stick with the current ways, and since they want to change something and to introduce something new, they are more adaptable to the changing environment. And the agreeableness dimension, better light, they and more compliant and conforming because they used to agree with the other people's opinion. They don't usually oppose the other people. So with these people we can easily work with others. So again, the performance, the conflicts would be really low, and it will lead to higher performance and low level of deviant behavior. So if the person agree with the decisions of the other people, high agreeableness is there, then they will not feel negatively. So since they are not feeling negatively, they will involved in the workplace deviant behavior. And the conscientiousness, greater effort, the persistence, more drive and discipline, better organized and planned. The conscientious people, they do everything in a very orderly manner, very organized manner, follow the rules and regulations. They are very reliable. So they will, and they are persistent as well. If they made some decision, they will stick with the decision. So the greater effort and persistence, they will put the hard effort, and they will persist with that. And more drive and discipline, better organized and planning. Okay. So what does it affect is again the performance will be high. They could also provide the proper leadership because they are doing everything in an organized manner, and great longevity because they persist with the decision they take, so that they can stay for a long. Okay, so these are the ways how this big five dimension relates to the workplace outcome and how it affects. I hope it's clear. Is it so? Shall we move to these other personality types relevant to the OB? Apart from these Myers-Briggs indicator type 4 types, and these 4 dimension, and these big five personalities 5 dimension. Okay, so now we will move to the other personality types. So one of such personality is the core self-evaluation. So this is the bottom line conclusion the individual have about their capability, competence, and worth as a person. So how a person believes that personalities or what are the competences he or she is having, what are the capabilities or he or she is having, and as an individual, how much worth I am to the organization. So that is the core self-evaluation. So people who have positive core self-evaluation, if they view themselves having more capability, more competency, and they are a very good asset to the, if they view themselves as a good asset to the organization, uh, see themselves as an effective, capable, and in control of their environment. And if the people have negative self-evaluation, they will dislike themselves. They will question about their own capability. Whether if something assigned to them, they will think about whether I have the knowledge and skills to complete this particular task or not. The other people may have believed in you and have uh, assign some task, but you yourself doesn't have a self confidence, and you will question about yourself and view themselves as the powerless over their environment, and they will think that, oh, I'm not capable of doing anything, I don't have the proper knowledge and skills, and because of that I don't have any power to influence the others or influence the work and all. So that's how the people who score low on this core self evaluation, who have the negative core self-evaluation will think about. So the people with a positive core self-evaluation perform better than others because they set more ambitious goals and are more committed to their goals and persist longer in attempting to reach these goals. So the people, if a person has the positive core self-evaluation, that means if believes themselves as the effective, capable in controlling their environment, and they will perform better than others because they set more ambitious goal, because they have some self confidence and they believe that, okay, I am capable of doing this, I can do this, and they will set some ambitious goals. And once they set the goal, they are really committed to their goals. They will continuously work towards that particular goal in order to achieve that, and the persistent in longer attempting to reach that goal. And once they committed themselves, they will continuously commit themselves to achieve the goal. So that kind of personality is the people who score or have the positive core self-evaluation. So people with positive core self-evaluation will view themselves as the capable, effective, and controllable person, and they will have more confidence on themselves. And the negative self-evaluation, they will dislike themselves and question about their own capabilities and views. Okay. And the second other personality type, which is relevant to OB, is the Machiavellianism. So often it is abbreviated as the MAG, the name after the Niccolo Machiavelli, who wrote in the 16th century on how to gain and use the power. So that is the second personality characteristics. Okay, so it is a Machiavellianism. So usually it is abbreviated as the MAG. Okay, so it's because the person's name is used to name that personality type. So an individual high in Machiavellianism is pragmatic, maintain emotional distance, and believes ends can justify the means. Okay, so these persons are they maintain some emotional distance, and they believe that uh, the ends can justify the means. If your goal is to achieve something, uh, whatever the way you do, it doesn't matter. But the achievement will ultimately justify the means. Okay, so you can follow whatever the way, whether it is ethical or not, it doesn't matter. Once you achieve the outcome, the mean will become the correct one. That's how these people believe and act. Okay, so if it works, use it. Is consistent with the high mark perspective. They don't care whether it is legal, whether it is ethical. So that kind of considerations are not there with these kind of people. Their goal or their concern is to achieve the objective, the final objective. So high marks flourish when they interact face to face with the others rather than indirectly, when the situation has minimal rules and regulation allowing latitude for improvement, and when emotional involvement with details are relevant for winning the distract, low max. Okay. So these people, the people, sorry, with high Machiavellianism or high max, they will flourish when they interact face to face with others. Rather than interacting indirectly, maybe through a phone call or maybe through text, if they interact face to face, they will like flourish. And then, if the situation has minimum rules and regulation, like the way of doing something, because their concern is to achieve the ultimate goal. They don't care about the rules and regulations. So, if there is a minimum rules and regulation for the achievement in a situation, they will like perform really well. And when emotional involvement with details irrelevant to winning the distract, low marks. Okay. So emotional involvement, it's relevant to winning the distract, low marks. So this is the characteristics of the person, the Machiavellianism persons. And the next one is the narcissism. So in psychology, the narcissism describes a person who has a greater sense of self-importance, requires excessive admiration, has a sense of entitlement, and is arrogant. So in psychology, how these narcissist people are described is this person requires a sense of importance. So everyone has to view themselves as a really important person, and everyone has to admire them. Everyone has to respect that people, and has a sense of entitlement, and is really arrogant. Okay, so that kind of personality is the people who score high on the narcissism. Okay, so evidence suggests that the narcissists are more charismatic and thus more likely to emerge as the leader. So because these people want the respect from other people, they expect that everyone has to respect themselves, everyone has to admire themselves, everyone has to give some importance to this particular person. They are more likely to emerge as the leader. That's how the narcissist people will believe. Okay. And despite having some advantages, most evidence suggests that narcissism is undesirable. So even though there's a tendency that these narcissist people who will emerge, most likely to emerge as the leader, but the characteristics of this narcissism is usually undesirable. Okay, a study found that while the narcissists thought they were better leaders than their colleagues, their supervisor actually rated them as worse. These people, because since they are seeking for the admiration, since they are seeking for the respect by the other people, these people thinks that I'm the better leader than the other people, than my supervisor, than my colleagues. I am the better one to do these things. However, even though they think in that particular way, they are rated as the worst. Okay, so this is the characteristics of the narcissism. The next one, other personality traits relevant to OB is the self-monitoring. Okay, so the self-monitoring refers to an individual's ability to adjust his or her behavior to external situational factors. So it's an ability to adjust yourself to fit to the external situation or the situational factors. So individual who score high on the self-monitoring show considerable adaptability in adjusting their behavior to the external focus. So if a person who is scoring really high on the self-monitoring, they can easily adapt themselves to the external situation or the external environment. If something happens in the external environment, something changes, they can easily adapt themselves to fit into that situation. The people who score low on this self-monitoring dimension, they cannot easily adapt that situation to the environment and they will find it difficult. So they are highly sensitive to the external cues and can behave differently in different situations because these people are really flexible. They could easily adapt themselves to the external environment. They can behave differently in different situations. According to the situation, they can change their behavior. Sometimes presenting striking contradiction between their public persona and their private selves. Okay. So low self monitors, they tend to display their true disposition and attitude in every situation. So these people, they don't adapt to the situation easily, and they try to express their true feelings and the disposition no matter what the situation is. Whatever the situation, they will behave in the same manner. That is the characteristics of these low self monitors. Okay, but the people who score high on this self monitoring, they can adapt themselves to the different situations very quickly. They will behave in different situation in a different manner. Hence, there's a high behavioral consistency between who they are and what they do. Okay, so the next is the risk taking. That is, the people differ in their willingness to take chances, a quality that affects how much time and information they need to make a decision. So here, uh, give me a minute. Okay, sorry for the disruption. Okay, so again, the risk-taking ability of the people. So that is other dimension. In addition to these big five, and the biggest dimension is the risk taking. So the people's willingness to take the risk or willingness to take the chance will differ, and a quality that affects how much time and information they need to make a decision. So this is a dimension. So based on this willingness to take the chance or willingness to take uh, the decision or how much information they need to take a decision will vary according to the people. So the higher risk taking people will take the decisions immediately with a minimum level of information, and the lower risk taking or risk averse people need many information to arrive at a decision. And the next personality characteristics is the proactive personality. The people who identify the opportunities, show initiative, take action, and preserve until the meaningful change occurs. That is the characteristics of this personality, proactive personality people. So these people, they try to identify the opportunity. They show some initiatives in taking some actions, and they take some initiative actions. They drive some new things in the organization, and they will preserve. The perseverance will be there until the meaningful changes occur. They don't just suggest and leave it as it is. They will work towards that change until a meaningful change occurs. That is the characteristics of this proactive personality type. So those with proactive personality identify the opportunity, show initiative, take action, and persevere until the meaningful changes occurs, compared to the other passively react to this situation, because the other people, they will passively react, and these people actively take some action. So proactives create the positive change in their environment regardless of or even in spite of the constraint or the obstacles. Okay, so they bring about some positive change because they initiate some changes in the organization. So if they initiate something, that is obviously to bring about a positive change. So not surprisingly, they have many desirable behavior that organization covers. Like they are more likely than others to be seen as the leaders and to act as the change agents. So the proactive individuals are more likely to be satisfied with the work and help others more with their task. So largely because they build more relationship with the others. So these individuals are more likely to be satisfied with work and help others. Okay. So that is the proactive personality. So is that clear? The other personality types are than the big five personality or the Myers-Briggs? Yes or no? If it is clear, we can move. Okay. So now we will try to connect how the people are behaving differently, exhibiting different personality in different situations. Okay. So we are learning that the effect of particular traits on organizational behavior depends on the situation. So we know that the people tend to exhibit different behaviors in different situations, and the behavior of the people ultimately will be impacted by the situation they encounter. So the two theoretical frameworks, the situation strength and the trait actuation theory, can explain the people how this works. Okay, how the situation and the personality or the behavior of the people are connected to each other. So there are two frameworks could be used. So first one, the situation strength theory proposes that the way personality translate into the behavior depends on the strength of the situation. Okay, the first theory about the situation and the personality is the situation strength theory, which states that the way the personality translates into the behavior. So the way the personality of a particular person translate into behavior is tend to depend on how strength the situation is, how uh, extreme the situation is. Okay, so by situation strength, we mean the degree to which no cues or the standard dictate the appropriate behavior. So the strength of the situation in the sense which explains like whether the situation is defined by the norms, rules, and regulations, whether there are standards of behavior are there in that particular situation or not. If all are there in a particular situation, if the people cannot behave in a particular way as they wish, but they have to follow a particular way of doing some things. If that situation is really standardized, we can call it as a situation with a high strength and a strong situation. If it is not standardized, we can say it as the weak situation. So strong situation show us what the right behavior is, pressure us exhibit it, and discourages the wrong behavior. So if the situation is standardized by the norms, cues, and standards, it will show us, okay, this is the right behavior and you have to follow this behavior, and this is the wrong behavior, you cannot follow this, discourages you to engaging in a wrong behavior. But in contrast, the weak situation, anything goes, whatever you can do, there is no any standard norms or the cues to guide your behavior, and thus we are freer to express our personality in behavior. Thus, the personality traits better predict the behavior in weak situation than in the strong one. So, if the situation is really strong, you cannot act according to your wish, according to your personality. But if the situation is really weaker, then you can express the behavior according to your own personality. If you are a person of emotionally unstable, if something happens, you will like get really angry and scolds to the people who comes into your mind, so come front of you, no matter whether that person is really connected to the situation or not, you just scold to them. Okay, you just blackguard it around them. So that's kind of personality you can express when the situation is really weak. But if it is a strong situation, you cannot express those kind of personality because there are standards. You cannot like go beyond the standard and express your own situation, own behavior. So this is what explained by the situation theory. So it says that if the situation is strong, the personality rarely predict the behavior. If the situation is really weak, the personality strongly predicts the behavior. Okay. So the researchers have analyzed the situation strength in organization in terms of 4 elements. Okay, we can say whether the situation is strong or weak according to 4 elements. First one, the clarity, or the degree to which the cues about the work duties and responsibilities are available and clear. The clarity in the sense about the responsibilities of a person, work responsibility of a person, whether the cues or the standards are actually available or not. If it's available, the jobs are really clear, having the high clarity. And if it is not available, they are lacking the clarity. So jobs high in clarity produce strong situation because the individual can readily determine what to do. So if the responsibility are clearly defined, the high clarity is there, then that situation will create a strong situation. Okay. So if the clarity is not there, then that will create a weak situation. So the clarity is one such factor determining whether the situation is strong or weak. The second one is the consistency. That means the extent to which the cues regarding the work duties and responsibilities are compatible with the one another. So the responsibilities of one job and duties of one job or one work has to be compatible with the duties and responsibilities of the other job. That is the consistency. So job with high consistency present the strong situation because all cues point forward the same desired behavior. Because whatever the roles and responsibility each and every worker or each and every position has, everything will be having a common goal, a general goal towards which the people would be working on. So the consistency means high consistency represent a strong situation. Whereas if the consistency is really low, the people will experience a weak situation. Okay. So the role of, for example, the role of job acute care nurse, for example, probably has higher consistency than the job role of a manager because nurse means the work duties, responsibilities, everything is really defined and consistent because recovering the person is the ultimate goal of, or the patient is the ultimate goal of a nurse. Okay. So but manager deals with the situation in a very different manner because the nurses, every nurse does the same job, but the manager, it depends on the situation. Okay, so that is the consistency. And next one is the constraint, or that is the extent to which the individual freedom to decide or act is limited by the forces outside their control. So constraint in the sense whether you could decide your behavior or not, whether any forces are like controlling your independence or not. If something is controlling your independence, the constraints are really high and that will represent a strong situation. If the constraints are really low, you don't have that limits to direct your behavior, and that will represent a situation of weak. Okay. And the next one is the consequences. That means the degree to which the decisions or the actions have an important implication for the organization or its members. Okay. So whether the actions or the decisions taken by yourself will have an important implication to the organization or the members or the suppliers or the stakeholders. If it has a strong consequences, strong implication, then that environment is really strong, that situation is really strong. If it is not, it will represent a weak situation. Okay. So this is what the situation strength theory states about. The next one is the trait activation theory. So another important theoretical framework towards understanding the personality and situation is the trait activation theory. So this predict that some situation, events, or the intervention activate a trait more than the others. Okay, so this says that earlier they said that if the situation is really strong, the people cannot do or behave according to their personality. So the strength of the situation determines the personality and the behavior connectivity. But here, this theory states that some situations and events are intervention, like in particular situation, particular personality behavior is activated, and in particular situations, they are not activated. Okay, that's how the people feel. So it says that, for example, a commission-based compensation plan would be likely activate the individual differences because extroverts are more reward less sensitive and than the open people. Okay, so the commission-based compensation plan. If an organization introduces a compensation plan which is based on the commission, and the people would likely to activate the individual differences because extroverts are more reward sensitive. They are expecting rewards for their performance than the people who experience the openness to experience. So those people are not seeking for the rewards, but extroverted people, if they do something, they are expecting some rewards for themselves. Conversely, in jobs that encourage the creativity, differences in openness may be better predict desired behavior than differences in extraversion. Okay, so conversely, if an organization like introduces something where more and more opportunities are open or given for the employees to encourage or to show their creativity, the people high on openness to experience will be performing really better than the extroverted people. Again, the trait activation theory applies to the personality tendencies. Not only it induces a certain personality to perform better, it applies to the personality tendencies as well. For example, a recent study found the people learning online responded differently when their behavior was being electronically monitored. Those who had high fear on failure had higher apprehension from the monitoring than the others learned significantly less. So whenever the people are monitored, whenever they are in a virtual environment or an online learning environment, if they are monitored, they behave differently. Okay, that the tendency is really different in the situations once they are monitored and in the situations where they are not monitored. So in this case, a feature of the environment like electronic monitoring activated a trait, the fear of failing, and the combination of the two meant lowered the job performance. So here, if since they are like having a fear that I'm monitored through someone else in a electronic environment, their tendency to fail is really high. Because of that fear in their mind, they perform really low and they could fail. But here, why this failure happens is because of the feature of the environment, that is electronic monitoring. Okay, so if it is not there, the people would not have been failed in their examinations. Okay, so this is what explained by this trade activation theory. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there is something related to the values, how the values is important to a person, and what are the terminals, two categories of values. And other than that, the value dimension, international value dimensions are there, uh, and a globe framework. All those kind of things we have to look into. Okay, so we will learn those things in the next class. Now you will have to go through a classroom activity today. Have you all downloaded the reference material I have uploaded to you in the LMS? Is it there with you all? Do you have the reference material or not? If I'm asking something, please respond. Okay, if you don't have, it's okay. Now I will share a case study with you all. What you have to do is everyone individually has to complete this case study, read this case study, and have provide the answers to the questions given below that particular case study. Okay, and you can find a link in the LMS to upload your answers. You can create maybe a Word document stating that answers, or else if you want to write the answers, you can have the handwritten document as well. If you have the handwritten documents, then you can scan that document or maybe take a photograph of it and upload it in the LMS link. Okay, whatever it is, you can do, but each and every person individually has to do this activity and upload the answers in the LMS. And you have to do it within the 1 hour time. Okay, because the LMS will be accepting your responses until 11 o'clock. Thereafter, the responses will not be accepted by the LMS. Okay. A small case study, you don't need much time to work on it. This is not an extra lecture. This is the lecture according to your timetable. I'm taking the lectures according to a timetable so that can't give you the extra excuses for the people who has gone for the match. Can you all see the screen? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the case study, a small one, and these are the questions of it. Just complete the case study and upload the answers in the LMS.